All right, so what I've done so far is I drew out some accents for the ears. I'll be drilling these all the way through and I'll be cutting them out with my jigsaw. So hopefully these will look good. Let's give it a shot. All right, just drilling a couple pilot holes so my jigsaw blade can get into this area. All right, that should do it. All right, the ear accents, I cut this one as well, and they're pretty much finished. Just gotta sand them, make sure they're all even, more or less, and till the next step. All right, so you'll notice that I have some accents that I'm gonna be adding here. So I'm just gonna cut these out with the Dremel right now. All right, I finished it up. Just cleaned it out. It needs some work still. It's not the best Dremel jobs, but once it's sanded, it should look pretty good. Now for the other side. All right, here's both sides done. As you can see, there's a little bit of blade marks I gotta get rid of. My first cut over here where it's kind of circular, so I'll try to sand that off, do some final touch-ups with the Dremel. But overall, it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna have this recessed portion, okay? I'm going to be painting this white or some kind of like off-white. So the rest is going to be black. I got some acrylic paint. This flat acrylic paint that I'm going to be using. So we'll try that out in a little bit here. All right, so I'm just going to be doing some tapering of where the supposed fur is. So I'm just going to be using this Dremel again. And this is the bit that we're going to be using. All right, so all the tapering's done along the sides here. The next step is going to be sanding and painting. I'm not going to do any more to this thing. I don't want to be making it look too busy. So for this portion of the sanding, I'm just going to be sanding these little grooves that I cut out along here. So I'm just using a drill bit that fits them and just wrapping them with some sandpaper. This is just a 150 grit sandpaper that I'm using. Nothing too smooth. That paint's going to cover up everything. And all the way down. Just in the process of starting to apply this flat black acrylic paint. Seems to be pretty good so far. I'll have to do probably a couple coats for sure on each side. Alright, we'll catch up with you guys when I'm finished the face. Alright, so the first coat is done and the sides. Now for the second coat. Alright, so here's the second coat finished. I haven't painted these accents yet. I'm kind of still on the fence whether or not I want to do that. So right now, this is kind of where I'm at. So it looks pretty good. There's some little streaks here. My garage was pretty cold tonight. Alright, so my next step is trying to figure out how deep to screw this screw and what angle to put it at. Okay, so I found an angle that seems to grip the skull pretty well. Okay, so let me do a demonstration here if I don't bump the camera here. So it's going like this, and then it mounts flush. Okay, and it's hanging totally vertical, and I'm pulling the board away from the skull, and it's like it's gripping very well. So I think this method would be way better than doing a bracket that's smooth. You'd have to like saw the bracket, maybe put some kind of teeth into it or something. But yeah, like I'm pulling on it right now, and it's, yeah, it came off there, but like you gotta like really yank on it. You can even see like a little bit of the skull on that screw. So yeah. So now I'm just gonna have to duplicate this onto the plaque here. So I got my bevel, so I have the approximate angle. One other thing, here's the skull, how it's going to be laying onto the plaque here. All right, so you'll notice that the ridge, okay, is quite a bit higher than where the screw is going to be screwed in. To actually know where the screw is going to be needing to be placed and how far below, you'll see a little mark right there. Okay, little pencil mark. Hopefully this is coming on the camera right there. Okay, so I just took my square, put it flush against the board, and put it right over here, just to make sure that it's in the right spot, because you want to be able to line up the top of the skull. All right, so here's perspective. You want to be able to make sure that the skull is centered over here and properly placed in here, so it's not too high or too low, because it's going to have to actually match up at the bottom as well. All right, just a heads up. So I wanted to take a screw and see how far I actually drilled in. Remember, I'm at an angle too, but it's 11/16, right? So it's almost 3/4 of an inch. I don't want to be punching through the back, but I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch away from the back, I would have to assume. So yeah, here we go. Now let's do this on the plaque. All right, so right now I'm just measuring from where the screw is. So about halfway to where the screw is. All right, to that mark. Okay, this will be where the top of the skull is. So it looks like 1 3/8. Okay, so it's 1 3/8. And what I've done here is I took a little area where I put a little mark with a screw here, just to mark where I am. and 1 3/8 over here as well, more or less. I did a little lower just in case, so there's some leniency. I don't want to go too high, but yeah, so 1 3/8 over here. All right, so I just took a drill bit just to drill a pilot hole to where the screw is going to be going, and what I've done is I just put a piece of tape over here just for a guide. All right, so approximately, if you can see this, 9/16. All right, this is the depth that I'll be drilling this hole. Just drilling a guide hole right now, just so I'll be able to drill at an angle here. All right, just to get things started. And now I'm going to get the angle of the bevel that I'll be looking for here. So I'm lining up the bevel to where this black line is, okay? And now I'm going to be drilling it in here. Hopefully that does the trick. So we'll place the screw in there right now. And now I'm just going to be mounting these eyelets on the back of the plaque right now. Just a basic eyelet. All right. Just give her a little quick drill here. All right, here's the finished product. So far it looks pretty good. Now I still gotta possibly do some white pieces right here, but that's not a big deal. You just paint those in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with the 3-part series. And till next time.